like, I'm gonna bring water. Uh-oh. Is there a conference organizer? Can someone page a conference organizer? Hey, Joe. Joe. I need a connector. I need a connector. Oh, thank you. I didn't even need a thing. What? Yeah, I think so. What was that? Do you have a Huh. So I guess I don't get notes.
Oh, so what are you? Oh, are you Keynote? Huh?
It's okay. Here we go.
Did you want to use that or the ear hook?
Oh, I would love that thing. I think.
Yes. Yeah. So go ahead and clip that to your.
What happened to my slide?
Oh, so what? Oh, I think they've got it. Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can get notes.
Yeah. So they don't. They have that on the road. They have this on the road.
One thing is like my glasses, right?
Yeah, everyone's kind of been struggling with that a little bit.
And the table rocks.
Oh. Try to counterbalance it. Yeah.
Okay, that's not it either.
Okay, so it switched into. So there's two. I don't know if you.
You can do
Yeah,
what you
wasn't
want.
done. Thank you.
Oh.
I'll let you do it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
That would be good. Okay, I'm gonna just turn that on for just a quick second. Actually, let me put this on too.
Sure. I don't even know where the thingy is. Or do you have it?
Your head to the left. Is it pulling a little bit?
Yeah.
Let me pull some slack through there. Okay, how's that? Can you turn your head to the left and it's not pulling?
Now it's floating.
It is?
Yeah,
Get a little more
it's-
slack then.
It's like floating on my ear. Okay, I guess I don't get speaker notes.
I have a little piece of tape or something we could put on that on there, but how's that? I feel like it might stay in place for half an hour.
As long as I don't make... So the thing is, if I make facial expressions, my glasses will move.
Okay.
But maybe...
It's probably okay.
I had a chef thing in front of Adam where I was talking, and I managed to, it popped right off.
Put that on your pocket or wherever you want.
Okay, if I put it in the back,
Yeah, that should be good.
will I have to turn it on or will it?
It's on right now. You can leave it on if you want. I can unmute it from the back. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this down too, so it's not in the way.
So you weren't getting the config that you wanted?
Oh, you know what? The speaker notes. Oh shit. I added notes and now they're all gone. I gotta make sure. Oh, that means a version of this didn't get saved. I'll be okay. Thank you.
So, I will be back behind the camera,
Okay.
and I have a 5 and a 0. And don't worry, I won't cut you off.
I'm last. I get to speak as long as I want, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what time does it run till? Like my talk?
So it's 4:20 to 4:50, and then we have like 10-minute, or then we have like 10-minute wrap. But you can bleed into that.
Okay.
I don't.
I just want to make sure, like like intro, blah blah blah, and all the goodness.
Yeah. So, yep. I will. I'm going to go cowbell now.
Okay. I'm not gonna take questions. I hope that's okay.
Yeah. Alice will take any. Will intro
Should I
you.
should I be down there?
Yeah, you can be down there, and Alice will. What do you feel most comfortable? Do you feel comfortable? I mean, being down there and
if I'm up here, that'll be great because then I can just be like, I am not running around.
Okay. Because okay.
If that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine. Just so.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Did you have some good open spaces? There were some fantastic looking topics there, and I saw that some of you are sharing notes online, aka Twitter, the dumpster. So if you want to just like set your filters to only DevOps Days notes, you can go enjoy that. And I believe they're also being posted in the Slack. So thank you so much for participating in our open spaces. They are a cornerstone of the original DevOps Days format, and they really help bring the community aspect into the conference. Speaking of the conference, who's ready for our last talk? Yes. We're going to have a talk, and then we're going to have closing remarks, including those raffle results. So if you are in line to win that copy of Front Page, you will want to stay. Our final speaker is perhaps our most famous superhero of them all. Originally from a hidden island of Amazon Web Services, this hero knows the cloud like no one's business, and they cannot wait to help you move your legacy systems to it. With their gauntlets that deflect bad commits, and their magic lasso that can make a cloud provider status page tell the truth. Please welcome to the stage, you may know her as Move Dear Woman, but we know her as Jennifer Davis.
Hi, so I'm Jennifer Davis, and I feel like we gotta recover some of the energy here, because I know this is the last talk of the day, so I wanna hear some energy. Hello! Okay, that's much better. We're awake now. Okay, cool. So, hi, I'm Jennifer Davis. I am one of the co-authors of Effective DevOps from O'Reilly. I am also a senior site reliability engineer at RealSelf, a really awesome site. A lot of the folks are based out of Seattle. I'm also the mom of Frankie. Little known fact, the last time I was at this conference speaking, I was pregnant. That is the little person that is now almost 2. Yes, definitely a yay. So earlier this year, I joined the company RealSelf. I joined the SRE team specifically. One of the challenges that I found really interesting about this team was that they adventured into the future with adopting new technology. They weren't afraid to experiment. Ed has come and spoken at DevOps Days Portland in the past. He's also spoken at, in Seattle as well as Silicon Valley. And it inspired me because I was like, here is this team doing really interesting things. They're not afraid to experiment with the latest and greatest while also supporting their current technology stack. I hadn't worked a lot with serverless at that point, because I was working at Chef, and so that's not something that they'd had a solution for. So I want to share today some of my observations as I've dug into this new-to-me technology. I want us together to examine what it means and how it's impacting the roles that we have. I posit that operations is a skill that is becoming more important and not less important. We're evolving skills that we all need for our applications to run the way that we expect them to run. One of the things I feel is critical about operations is that we are monitoring the risk to the business. And by that, I don't mean our pagers. Like, none of us are interested in being paged, although, well, some of us like to be paged. I don't. And so I'm not talking about carrying a pager. I'm talking about maximizing the value of what we get on our returns of the money that we spend, as well as minimizing the impact of compromised systems. We have to think about this as operations folks and keep the business making money. It doesn't matter whether someone is a developer or whatever role of operations you have, whether it's SRE or sysadmin or IT operations, or if you're a tester. All of these roles matter in the org. And you can do operations work if you have the motivation and skills to do it. As the technology evolves, the specific skills that we do change, but we still need these roles in our environments. When I look at successful teams in media, this is from the show Bones. When I was recovering from the state of being pregnant, I watch a lot of TV shows, and one of the things I saw is these teams and how they interacted. And yes, there's like cool technology that people use, but when people aren't available, the other team members step up to the plate, use the technology, but they're not as good or as effective with it. So like, for example, Angela went out on maternity leave, and people were like, oh, how are we going to figure out what this person looks like, who it is? The team doesn't break apart. And yet, every time I see these ideas that, oh, it's cool, we're going to automate away this particular role, I've seen it happen with testing, and now it's operations. Like, people are like, we can make it so you don't really need to do testing anymore. That's not the case, as we learned earlier today, right? So in my team at RealSelf, we have a responsibility for site reliability engineering across the company. But we're also designated to specific sprint teams with a particular role for a particular business value. And so we provide mentorship and leadership to core values of being an employee at RealSelf to help everyone on the team level up their operation skills. There's very few things where we say, you shall not do this. And those are things that, that would totally break us. And our software development engineers are the first line when you get paged. And incidentally, our managers also go on call as incident commanders. So everybody is invested in learning these operation skills. So what does it mean to be in operations? There's so much that doesn't get encompassed by what is defined by certain tools. What we do at RealSelf, in part, this doesn't encompass everything, is capacity management. We have to think about how we're spending money, where we're going to spend money, how can we save money, what is it that we're doing? What does our security look like? We work together with our security team to make sure that we are following recommended practices. What does our service health look like? And that changes. It doesn't stay static. It's always changing as we introduce new services and retire old services. We worry about networking and databases and incident response and disaster planning. We have to know how to do all of this. And yet, we're not going to do ops anymore? How many people have to worry about these kind of pieces in their infrastructure? Right? It matters. And in some teams, there's large teams, you might have dedicated teams to individual pieces of the stack. And I consider them operations, like database operability. That's still operations. We need expertise in this, we're not losing this. So then what is it that we're talking about when we talk about serverless? The ops in the serverless, let's define serverless. Well, maybe serverless is PagerDuty, because it's this really cool service I use, and I set up schedules, and I can look at it and see who's on call. It's a specific function, but I don't have to worry about the servers that are underneath. And so maybe that's serverless. Or maybe it's Datadog, because I can get this visibility into all my systems. I no longer have to run a separate metrics collection and analyze everything. I can just send my information and collect it with any of the integrations they have and see this pane of information. Maybe serverless is my hosted CI environment. Now, I do specify what my environment is, like whether I'm using a Docker container or a machine executor. But I don't have to manage the systems underneath. I'm not getting paged. All of these things are serverless. Really. And ops people love this stuff. We totally want this stuff to work, because we're out of the data center. We're not hosting systems and going in there with all our little plugins and extra CDs and DVDs for operating systems, I finally threw away a bunch of stuff this past year because I was like, I don't need this anymore. We care of making the systems work reliably. It doesn't matter so much how we're doing it, whether it's with servers that we go set up, the cloud, or serverless. We just want it to work the way that it needs to work, and we need that insight. So really, when we talk about serverless, there's kind of two camps, and there's the BAS and the FAS. And I'm going to talk specifically more about the FAS elements here, and that's the function as a service. Amazon kind of introduced us to this with Lambda. And if you look at AWS serverless presentations, you'll see a few points that are repeated over and over again. There's no servers to provision, it scales with usage, you never pay for idle, and availability and tolerance, it's magic. Like, sprinkle some magic on this. I think that we need to actually clarify some of what they're saying here, because I think people interpret it to mean different things, especially when people are like, yay, no ops needed. So when they say no servers to provision, people conflate this to no infrastructure to maintain. And that's completely incorrect, because you still need to know all the resources that you're going to use, what they're going to do, who has access to them, how they're going to get configured. I love the fact that I don't have to get paged to go upgrade OpenSSL when there's a vulnerability. That's amazing. I don't care about that. That's not part of my application. That's not direct to my business value. But serverless doesn't eliminate my operability concerns about my resources. We need to isolate how things are built. I just went to AWS Community Day and heard a bunch of talks about how great serverless is for developers. And that same greatness makes it so great for attackers. It makes it so easy to attack the vulnerabilities in your system. So another thing, scaling. Yeah, scaling is magical. One of the limitations that we had originally was you have this infrastructure, you would figure out all the steps. It would take ages to get approvals, potentially, depending on your organization, buy that hardware, it gets shipped. But see, then the developer receives the hardware, and they start using it, and they use as much as they want, and magically they can use as little or as much as they want. And that cost is, like, we inherit that cost. Now, the greatness is we only pay what we use, and the company that is hosting our serverless, whether it's Amazon or Microsoft or Google, is now handling all the implementation details. We don't have to get involved in saying no to like those particular costs, but it's still, now the application developer has to determine, how are we going to scale? Are we going to successfully scale? Does it actually work? There's this concept of you never pay for idle. Well, what if your application is doing the wrong thing and you're actually invoking the app and spending resources? But this is another plus to the quality of the software that you're writing. We need to know that we're really idling. Again, I don't have to worry about this anymore. I remember being at Yahoo, and we would have these big pushes to spend a lot of time analyzing our utilization. It was like, well, we're not using CPU on this, we're actually using disk. We would spend all the cycles. Well, now, as an ops person, I don't have to care about idle systems because somebody else is caring about it. I get to focus on the value that I can bring to the org. Then, the availability. This is a very interesting concept because it totally just works. But this comic is so applicable because everything is events, everything is event-driven. And when something goes wrong, and it really goes wrong, you're kind of like, how do I fix this? Where do I even start? And I'll tell a little bit about my first experience with serverless and feeling like, well, it's running, but what is this mess? And I really felt like this. So the perceived benefits and what makes CFOs and CTOs happy is that we're simplifying the operational model, and we're paying for what we use. We're going to save a ton of money. What I actually see is that we manage control. And what I mean by this is you get a choice as an operations person to be, yes, I don't care about this. It can run in the serverless. Or, and like, I'm not going to worry about the infrastructure, or I need to have more control over this, and so we're going to build this application together on instances or Docker containers. It's a choice that we get. We also can reduce our costs, but things like doing a constant polling job that keeps our serverless functions warm, that's kind of wasted work, so maybe we're not reducing costs as much as we think we are. And so we still have to do budget concerns to make sure we're spending the money the way that we expect to spend it, and that there isn't more value doing instances themselves. So there are a few challenges. You can't just go, OK, I'm going to take my ops and bring it over to the serverless, and it's just going to work. One of the first things I saw was application lifecycle. It's completely changed. It's not the way that I think of it, and like, it really doesn't matter anymore. I can quickly deploy a new serverless function, and it's completely new, and it doesn't matter. So there's less concern there, and that's kind of messes with my mind, because so much I've thought about is the application lifecycle. How is it born? How do we change it? How do we kill it gracefully? But then there's also this challenge of the visibility and monitoring. I don't get all of the benefits of long-lived systems. I'm used to being able to see metrics that tell me, oh, that push that you just put out is actually bad because the utilization numbers have changed in these ways. We're no longer looking at that kind of information. So how do we actually do that part of the operability? Like, people are just making changes, deploying them very fast. And so it's like, how do we change what we've done in the past? Sure, AWS gives you some metrics, and then third-party services will totally take those metrics and give them back to you in the same way. You actually have to think hard about what you need to measure, how you need to measure it, what logs you need to generate. And when I've polled people, I don't get a lot of confidence that we are doing this yet. So it feels like this is a very early stage level of things, and that we could apply a lot more skill to this, because we need more than this when we're debugging things. What I've seen is useful is applying serverless to these types of applications. Some people are like, you can do serverless for everything. It really feels like these are where we have solid use cases, and these are where we use them at RealSelf. And I want to be clear, I totally love serverless. It's not like, oh, hate on the serverless. I think that it's really good for specific applications, and these are those kind of applications. If you want to introduce additional risk in your application without thinking about capacity planning or permissions management or roles isolation, sure, don't do an evaluation. Don't think about these things. But yeah, it is good for some things. So let me talk a little bit about my first serverless experience. So there was this problem with an application, and I started digging into it. And the nice thing about serverless, is specifically the step functions on AWS console, you get to see this nice big graph of the model of what's happening. The problem with this is you get it after the fact. You don't get to mess around with this model beforehand to figure out, does it do the thing that I want it to do? It's kind of like I code, I deploy, and I observe the changes. And as long as everything's green, everything's good. But the minute that you have a single failure, it starts looking bad. And I basically spent hours deploying changes, watching the changes as it flowed down this little graph. And then I got some help to figure out, oh, I can actually log into this serverless server, because that's how you debug things, is tracing through, like finding the identifier, going into the console, identifying the server. And this is how I discovered that concurrency matters. And you can have functions that get into this weird state. And we had between like 5 and 16 MySQL instances starting up at the same time. They were trying to build themselves all at the same time, so most of them would fail. So it would fail the whole thing. And for a large table, that can be a problem. So recommendations to how you can add some of the operability that I've seen into the possibilities that you have. Don't use the AWS console. Like almost every tutorial out there is like, first go to the AWS console and do these things. And like developers will get really excited, like, oh, look, I can do this thing and it's magical. And then you're like, no, because the reality is you need a framework. Choose a framework, base it on whatever language you're using. That's the whole point of this. Is serverless is a real awesome DevOps tool. You get your devs, you get your ops, you get your testers, you get your security people all working together on the same project. It's all in the code right there. You got your, like for the serverless framework, you've got your serverless YAML, and then you got your handlers in your code. So the value of version control is there. Like, we know it. We can embrace it. And choosing a framework and not the console makes all the difference, because then we can collaborate. We get the business continuity, and we can manage the risk of change, which is, again, the whole value of operations is monitoring our risk. If everybody's doing shit in the console, I can't monitor that. Like, you're never leaving. Like, you deploy something into production in the console, that's your new job. You've got to know all of the resources that you're going to use and get them into your serverless config for the serverless framework, or whichever framework you're going to use. Declare them all up front. Also make sure that your KMS is a standalone configuration so that you can, when you have a state of a breakdown, you don't lose your ability to encrypt and decrypt information. And again, this is so critical. IAM policies need to be reviewed by whoever is your security team. That might be your operations people, your SREs, it might be a security team. You need to understand this, because this is such a critical element. And like, I'm terrified now of all things of IAM policies because of the red team talks from yesterday. Know your limits. There's specific limits, and it bites everyone. And don't cross your streams of Node.js and Python, because that adds to things. Every time you're building and deploying serverless, you're bundling all of the plugins that you need, because you don't get anything for free, right, except for the server. So you have to put everything together. The other thing is serverless magically can version everything underneath you, and you can quickly get to the 75 gig limit per region. And so clean up your versioned elements, because if you're using version control, you already have those versions in your version control repository. So I keep seeing this is the end of operations, no ops, like the advent. And I feel like that's just people wanting to talk about something and get value about it. Like, I cared passionately about operations, and I want to encourage all of you to push back on these people who are saying no operations anymore, because as I've talked about, it's obvious we need operations. It's only going to get more critical. We can all pursue the knowledge and skills that are part of operations. It doesn't mean that we need operations people like with that role. We can all be developers. I don't care what my title is. I just like to do the interesting work. But we do need people who specialize in this specific perspective that are going to look at how we build applications and spend the time evaluating it, just like we need people spending time testing. It's kind of like we have all these algorithms and solutions for code, so are we going to basically say there's no dev? I don't care. I really don't care about like naming my servers and managing them. I'm fine running serverless and having someone else get paid for them, right? I still am going to get paid for for the business value of my application. I still need to care. So when people say no ops, I want you to tell them it's more dots. Developers, database, design, operations, testers, security. We need more dots, not less ops. Ops love serverless. And that doesn't matter if it's PagerDuty or Datadog or some other third-party service that's going to come along next. But we also need for companies to expend the energy for operations advocacy. We need for the tools that are coming to care about how we as operations, as testers, as security, implement and use these tools. Too often, it's not paid attention to, and so we, the cobblers of glue, put these things together and make it work. So if I've gotten you interested in serverless, there's a serverless conference happening next week. If you don't have a ticket, there's a few tickets left. You can get 20% off with the code serverless20. There's also one in Seattle coming up October 4th. And I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this talk with you. I'm super passionate about it. And if you're passionate about it too, have thoughts and feels you want to share about it, please do email me at serverless@awesomedevops.com.
Another round of applause for Make Dear Woman!
Can I ask a favor?
Ask a favor.
So I am here and not in Santa Clara, right? Can you all participate in a little video for my son, Frankie? I'm going to turn around and face away from you.
I know some of you are not comfortable being photographed, so you can...
I haven't pressed click yet. So let me know.
If you want to arrange yourself differently.
Yeah, and here we go. And just say hi, Frankie, when I give you the thumbs up.
Hi, Frankie!
Oh, you know what? I didn't hit record. The lights are really bright.
Recordless.
Okay.
Hi, Frankie!
Thank you so much.
Thank you! Any sponsors giving raffles away, could I get you to come to the front of the room? So as we are wrapping up for the day, please make sure you have all of your belongings. There are 2 evening events that I am aware of being run by sponsors. IG Northwest is doing a happy hour at Spirit 77, and Datadog is hosting a showing of war games at Living Room Theater. Yes. If you go to either of those events, the building closes at 10 p.m., parking closes at 11, although I'm told you can still get access to parking through a back entrance, but the gates should go down for most of the entrances at 11. But I think for both of those events, you should be able to get back here in time before 11 to get back to your cars. All right, so we have a lot of awesome sponsor raffles to give away. I have 2 to announce for sponsors who already left. The first one, I actually don't remember the name of the sponsor. They were giving away a Switch. Nutanix. Nutanix already gave it. It turns out that the person that they drew to give it is one of the organizers, so that handoff already happened. The organizer was a little embarrassed, so I was like, well, I can fix that by just saying it was me. But they weren't really down with that. So anyway, if you were waiting, It's rigged. It's rigged against me. Anyway, if you're waiting here for the Switch drawing, the Switch is already gone. Morpheus was giving away Bose earbuds, and the winner of that is Neil Blackburn. I don't know if Neil is still here. Awesome. They said, yay! They said they would mail them to you. I think they already have your address. So congrats on winning. Sorry? They said that they were going to mail them. Did you give them your address? An email? Sorry? It's just email, so they'll be in contact with you. But they said that you were the winner, Neil Blackburn. All right, come on up.
Okay.
First up, we have Columbia.
And I have 3 prizes.
3 prizes.
We have 2 gift cards and front page. So depending upon the order of draw, you can pick one of Lovely prizes.
I know what I want.
First winner.
I'm so impartial. All right.
I mean, it's rigged.
The first one is Patrick Gorrigan. Patrick still here? Do they must be present? Patrick Gorrigan.
Next.
No. Jack Hafner. Woo! Come on up.
Okay.
All right. Third one. Stacy Austin. Stacy Austin? Nope.
What do you want?
Gift card. Mikhail Stadin. Woo, come on up. And last but not least.
Mikhail works at Microsoft, and if you don't take front page, I'm going to tweet it.
Give me the gift card.
I'm tweeting it.
That means Julia Raymer, you just won a copy of Front Page. Julia Raymer, come on up.
You must have Windows 98 or NT 4.0 to run the software.
Julia? No?
No.
Over there?
One of my old jobs still has NT 4.0.
Yep.
Could also go to Gabby Sidmar Moore. Is Gabby still here?
Man.
They're just hiding. Siraj Shaki? Shaky? Yeah! Yay! Yeah. Come on up.
Enjoy your front page.
Hello.
Hello. What do we got?
We have a satchel for you to hold.
A satchel.
That's it. Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm from Rundeck. We're giving away the HomePod, which a lot of you entered for. And do you want to keep doing the thing you're doing? You seem to really be enjoying it.
I'm super into choosing
It's
fate.
not you. Maybe it's you. I don't know.
Just like deciding people's lives.
It's heavy.
All right, the winner of that. Adam Pipert, right there. Yeah,
Really? You're just going to sit there?
oh, you can leave him. You can take it up.
Send it to his email.
All right. And here is your satchel.
Thank you.
Come on up.
Okay, thank you, Nike. We have 50 cards, so 2% chance.
This is Nike. What are we giving away?
We are giving away basically free cash. Amazon gift card, $100.
All right, for Scalar. How many do we have? Just one?
50, oh, just one. Yeah.
Okay. All right, this is going to Bill Weiss at Rally. All right. Redo. Alex Privy.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right. Awesome, thank you.
Oh, can I grab 2 cards?
Of course, of course. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up. What do you got and who are you
Hi there.
representing?
I'm from Red Hat, and this is a $100 Amazon gift card. So, you want to pick one?
Winner of the Amazon gift card is Alexander Privy again. Redo.
Redo.
Daniel Edgar at F5. Is he here? Daniel Edgar?
Oh.
It's Julia Wester, principal consultant. Yes, she's here? No. She's in the speaker. Hey! All right, congrats. Sorry, I made a mess of all your cards. All right, come on up. I'm going to guess you're from the Waffle People.
I am from Pancake.io. So thanks to anyone that found our super secret 3D printer giveaway. We're going to ship the printer because they're ginormous, but it's a cool big Delta printer. You get this as a reminder. Is Amanda Rizzo here? Woo! You have a lifetime of joy coming to you. I'll bring it to you.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Come on up. Guessing you're from Datadog.
Yes.
What are you giving away?
So, Edwin from Datadog, I met a lot of you lovely people. I'm giving a vacation in a box, Oculus Go. So, that is up for grabs. Do you want to grab at numbers?
I love grabbing.
We had the tickets
Oh, it's
out.
numbers. You need tickets for the Datadog giveaway. All right, the first one is 0020. Ah! Congratulations!
There you go, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a business card or anything?
I don't with me, but I'll come see you.
Thank you. Come on up. X matters. X matters. All right, what are we giving away?
We have Bose SoundLink over-the-ear headphones.
Ooh. The prickly bunch. All right. The winner of the Bose headphones is Gabrielle Sidmar Moore. I know we called her out earlier. Is she here now? Nope. It's Matt Schultz. Oh, this is a very popular corner of the room to be on. All right, congrats. Do you want to come get your headphones? Hey. Awesome, thank you. Next up, Cloudbolt.
Cloudbolt, yeah, and we're giving away a 4-channel Predator drone. And the winner was sent to me ahead of time, Karvari Ellingson at JAMA Software.
Awesome. Last but not least, Kaizenops. All right, what are we giving away?
We got 2 different Lego things. You can pick, whoever gets first pick, and then the other one gets to pick the other one.
Yeah, all right.
Pick. And we went ahead and picked a couple names. John Hampton. All right, John, come on up. Just make this go a little faster so we can get to the beer. And Gene Taylor. Gene Taylor, Gene... Okay.
All right.
That works.
Good job. All right. Fantastic. Good job. Thank you. Well, we've certainly had a time here at DevOps Days Portland 2018. I know I'll never forget it, and I hope you don't either. But if you're gonna forget it, please don't forget it within the next week, because we're sending out a survey. We thank you for everyone who participated in the feedback channels, the gratitude channels. It was fantastic to see everyone interact as a community. Thank you for running with open spaces and really providing a place of respect and friendship to our speakers who traveled here from all over, in addition to being local experts that you could make part of your communities and your companies. I want to give a quick plug to a meetup that I run every month here locally. It's PDX DevOps. We meet the fourth Wednesday, not the last Wednesday, but the fourth Wednesday of the month at New Relic. If you're local in town, there's a meetup page. It's basically a lot of this with really cool talks and engagement if you want to keep this feeling going the rest of the year. Can I have my organizers come up on stage? I know that they're kind of spread out, but anyone who's in the organizer committee, if you hear this stream, please come on up. This conference would not be possible at all without these fantastic people. They organized the venue, they put out calls, they got the talks, they organized the sponsors, the vendors, the venue, the food, the after party. Can I please get a round of applause for our fantastic organizers? Thank you so much. This is a completely volunteer-run event. They all put in their time for free to make this happen, and it is a bit of a commitment, and they just do a fantastic job. And speaking of volunteers, we also have volunteers. They're not all still here, but for those that are out and about still cleaning up and working the registration booth, can I also have a round of applause for our great volunteers? If you are local and are interested in helping us make this happen again, you can email the organizer email that's on the Portland DevOps Days page, or if you want to volunteer, you can also give us a ping and we'll add you to a list and we'll ping you next year when it's time to get help. In the meantime, please take what you learned here and go out into the world, take it back to your companies, the good feels, the great ideas. Please have a safe evening, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next year. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.